So enjoy while it lasts. Well, I mean, there's a lot of other good singers, of course. You
Yeah,
know,
but I like working with
I
you.
like working with you guys too.
So, yeah, we've had a nice long relationship
I
with
know.
doing
Oh
this.
my gosh, it's been
And
like four
actually,
years now, right?
I talked to President Singer yesterday, and he asked whether there's an influence in country singing, and I said, good, he knows who you are. So,
That's so funny because I've never actually spoken to him before. Like never like said hi face to face, you know?
yeah, he sounded to me like he was a fan.
Oh well, I appreciate it. I love my fans. No, I'm
You got
kidding,
one,
I'm
right?
kidding. I got one at least, you know.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Enjoy
thank
enjoy the
you.
ride. All right.
trop beau folle de lutin, suis mon char qui vole dans la nuit, fuis de rire de Phoebe qui luit. Parmi les fleurs que l'aurore fait déclarer, par les bois et par les prés et après, sur les flancs couverts d'écume, dans la
safety and the enjoyment of today's events. We remind you that, according to New York State law, there is no smoking in the event center. For your safety, note that fire exits are clearly marked by exit signs. Take a moment to identify the location of the fire exit nearest you, keeping in mind that it may be behind you. In the event of an emergency, an alarm will sound, and you should calmly and safely exit the building at that time. We ask that you also wear your mask at all times. Thank you.
I'm Grand Marshal Natalia Mijatovic, and I would like to call to order the class of 2020 commencement ceremony of the State University of New York at Binghamton. Everyone, everyone, please rise as you're able. Gentlemen, please remove your hats. We welcome you to join vocalist Kelsey Watts in singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that a flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Everyone, please be seated.
I've done more other than 100 graduation ceremonies. This is the best one ever. Yes, we did it! Woo! Finally, we're here! There's more to come. This is a really special ceremony. Congratulations to you all. Before we proceed with our ceremony, I would like to welcome members of the Binghamton University Council who are joining us today. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Linda Beamer, Dennis McCabe, Caroline Sandleitner, the student representative, I would also like to introduce our other special guests who sit with us on stage this afternoon. They'll stand as I call their names. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. Laura Bronstein, Dean, College of Community and Public Affairs. Upinder Dillon, Dean and Kaufman Scholar, School of Management. Sheila Doyle, Executive Director, Binghamton University Foundation. Scott Fuhrer, Alumni Association President. Honorable Hakeem Jeffries, U.S. House of Representatives. Karen Jones, Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Celia Klin, Dean, Harper College of Arts and Sciences. John Cook, Vice President for Advancement. Gretchen Mahler, Interim Dean, Graduate School. Natalia Milokovic, Grand Marshal, Chair, Faculty Senate. Joanne Navarro, Vice President for Operations. Mario Ortiz, Dean, College of Nursing and Health Sciences. Gabe Pinchoti, Student Speaker. Bhagat Samakya, Vice President for Research, Distinguished Professor of Mechanical Engineering. Hari Srihari, Dean, Thomas J. Watson College of Engineering and Applied Sciences, Distinguished Professor. Please join me in applauding these special guests. Let me also recognize the esteemed faculty members who have mentored and guided our graduates. Your efforts were crucial to the intellectual growth and achievements that we celebrate today. Will all faculty on the stage and in the audience please rise as you are able. Please join me as we applaud the support and dedication they provided in preparing our students for success in their chosen careers. And I would also like to thank the Binghamton University Wind Symphony, our vocalists, and the Broome County Celtic Pipes and Drums for their participation in today's celebration. Today, we are taking time to recognize one of the most distinguished classes in Binghamton University's history, the class of 2020. I know that this day has been a long time coming for all of you, and we deeply regret that we had to postpone this well-deserved recognition, the conferral of bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees from Binghamton University. I'm so happy to welcome all of you back to Binghamton University for this long-awaited celebration. This has been a remarkable year and a half for you and for our university. When you first came to Binghamton 5 or 6 years ago, there was no way that you could have known that we would be plunged into a worldwide pandemic, a pandemic that forced you to find new ways to learn, new ways to conduct research and scholarship, and perhaps most importantly, new ways to build and strengthen the social ties that define one's college years. But you were resilient and you persevered. The class of 2020 is truly a remarkable class. I also want to thank parents and family members whose support and compassion were so crucial to the success of our students. Your role was especially noteworthy when the campus suddenly shifted to remote learning a year and a half ago. I know that this change came unexpectedly for most of you when families suddenly found themselves competing for space and bandwidth when classrooms went dark. So congratulations to all of you as well. Our graduate success is due in no small measure to the care and compassion shown by their families over the past year. This is a great day when we officially recognize the class of 2020, including the first cohort of Masters of Public Health graduates, very timely, who along with all of our other graduates reached this milestone during a global pandemic. I know for many of you, May 2020 seems like a long time ago. You have long since started on the career path that commencement was supposed to herald, and I hope that all of you are experiencing success in the days since you left Binghamton. But still, we need to take this time to celebrate your commencement and perhaps to reflect a little on what it means. So what does it mean to graduate or commence from this university? Historically, the recipient of the baccalaureate degree is acknowledged to have a level of expertise that will allow you to advance or commence in your chosen profession, adding to the quality of life we lead as global citizens. Similarly, a master's degree signifies a deeper study of a field or discipline, a mastery of the subject suitable to teach others. And of course, the PhD, our doctoral graduates, are among that rare cohort that they can say they have produced novel and meaningful research that has broadened their discipline. Congratulations to all of you on this remarkable accomplishment. Your education at Binghamton was a long and challenging journey, made so much more unique, posed by COVID-19. It was a journey filled with the excitement of exploration and discovery, the guidance of faculty mentors, and the friendship of colleagues and peers, and of course, the disappointments and challenges caused by the pandemic. Let's think back to the start of your journey, to your first days at the university. For those entering as first-year students fresh out of high school, you began by choosing a field of study, nursing, or history, or engineering, or decided to follow the most popular major, undecided. Our graduate students, of course, already had a degree, only to discover that the more they knew about their field, the more there was to know. During your time here, your studies became broader and deeper, your research became more exacting, your scholarship more penetrating, and your creativity more vibrant and thought-provoking. In other words, you discovered a passion, one that you have carried with you in the months since you left. Looking back, I hope that you have been able to delve more deeply into your passion. I know that people often speak of finding your passion as if it's something that you can stumble upon, like a $20 bill lying in the street. But what I've discovered, and I hope you have too, is that developing a passion involves hard work. You must deeply engage yourself in a subject, learning its inner workings and investing your time and intelligence. So I hope that Binghamton has given you the tools to find your passion, one that you will continue to renew and rediscover, and in so doing, let Binghamton inform your future years. I'm so proud of Binghamton University's graduates and the education you have received. Your nation and the world needs your talents. Today, more than ever, we need nurses in our hospitals, social workers in our schools, and leaders in government and industry who combine expertise and compassion in their daily work. We need teachers to impart knowledge to the next generation, engineers to develop technologies that save and sustain the environment, artists and poets who challenge us to do better and who show us a new lens by which we can view the world. But most of all, we need people who are committed and engaged practitioners working to make society better, one decision at a time. We face great challenges, a pandemic still to overcome, social and economic inequities that lessen life expectancies and foster political unrest, and perhaps most pressing, a world growing warmer and more threatening. Challenges like these will require the work and imagination of people in a wide range of fields and disciplines, working together across international borders, people with skills and expertise, and most of all, a passion for solving challenging puzzles, people just like you. I hope that all of you have been able to put the education and experiences you gained while at Binghamton to a good purpose. Having spoken to many of you, I know that you have valued your time at Binghamton, and I'm pleased that we have had this opportunity now to show how much we value you. I look forward to learning of your many future successes and hope that you will remain steadfast members of the Binghamton University community. Congratulations to all of you. Today, we are delighted to welcome alumnus and U.S. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, class of 1992, to our commencement recognition program for the Binghamton University class of 2020. Congressman Jeffries proudly represents the 8th Congressional District that encompasses much of Brooklyn and sections of Queens, from which many of our students hail. Since first being elected in 2013, he's focused his attention on a variety of issues, including police and housing reform, the environment, voting rights, access to health care, social equity, and economic justice. And he has helped shape Congress's response to the COVID pandemic. His committee assignments include seats on the Committee on the Judiciary and the Committee on the Budget, and his bills have attracted strong bipartisan support. He's currently the chair of the House Democratic Caucus, and as such, is the 5th highest ranking Democrat in the House of Representatives, and was formerly the Congressional Black Caucus Whip. And many are predicting even greater things to come at the federal level for our friend, Congressman Jeffries. Before being elected to Congress, he served 6 years in the New York State Legislature. He's been a strong supporter of Binghamton University and has visited us many times in the past decade. We're delighted to welcome him back once again to our campus, especially at a time in Washington, D.C., when things are quite active. And I've also learned that he's a pretty good baseball player and has won 6 out of the last 8 congressional Senate baseball contests, which you probably have heard about. So he's a great guy, and we're going to bring him back to practice in our new baseball stadium when it's done. I'm honored to introduce Congressman Hakeem Jeffries.
Good afternoon, Binghamton. Good afternoon on this glorious, wonderful occasion to President Stenger. Thank you so much for extending this invitation to be with each and every one of you, and for the tremendous leadership that you continue to provide to this amazing institution of higher learning, to all of the faculty and staff, to the parents, to the family members, to the friends, and most importantly, to the graduating class of 2020. Congratulations on your amazing accomplishment. Or as we sometimes say in Brooklyn, Mazel Tov. This is a wonderful day. It's an honor to be back on the Binghamton University campus. I first arrived a little over 30 years ago, just a few suitcases and a 13-inch television. Many of you probably didn't know they made televisions that small. But it was an honor to start the journey here at Binghamton, and it's laid such a tremendous foundation for me as I've moved forward throughout life. Now, you've waited 18 months for this wonderful moment in your lives. And so I'm going to try and follow the advice of a former Sunday school teacher of mine in Brooklyn who once said to me, Jeffries, on the question of public speaking, be brief, be bright, and be gone. And so I'm not going to tarry before you for an extended period of time, but there's just 1 or 2 things that I'd like to share with these amazing graduates. Winston Churchill, one of the great statesmen of the 20th century, once observed that success is not final. Failure is not fatal. All that matters is the courage to continue. At the end of the day, as you travel along life's journey, all that matters, Churchill said, is the courage to continue. I put it a different way. A knockdown is different than a knockout. That's the Hakeem Jeffries remix. A knockdown is different than a knockout. And so for the next few moments, I just want to reflect upon the theme, when life knocks you down, don't give up, get up. When life knocks you down, don't give up, get up. That's what all of you have demonstrated already. You know, my journey has taken me from Brooklyn to Binghamton, back to Brooklyn, and then at some point landing in the United States Congress, where when I got to Congress, I was surprised to learn that I was the first Binghamton University graduate to ever serve in the United States House of Representatives. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries, who knew? Only in America, what a great country. And it was what a great country. And it was Binghamton that laid the foundation for that journey. But it's a journey where I've realized that it wasn't all going to be wine and roses. It was a journey that was filled with many twists and turns, bumps and bruises along the way, from the launching point where you are at right now, all the way to the destination where I landed. I've learned over the years, as your parents and others have, I'm sure, imparted to you, life is filled with ups and downs, with highs and lows, with peaks and with valleys, with trials and with tribulations. I travel a lot now between New York and Washington, D.C., back to New York. And I've come to the conclusion that one of the reasons why so many folks don't like to fly is because they recognize that at some point along the way, when they're on that plane, they're likely to encounter turbulence. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Up in the air, 30,000 feet high, plane starts rocking back and forth, no place to go. It's at that moment when everybody on the plane gets religion. Folks start looking for the nearest priest or rabbi or imam. Lord, just plant my feet on solid ground. What am I trying to say? You can't get from your point of departure to your point of destination without at some moment along the way encountering turbulence. And all of you hit a very turbulent moment. And when you find yourself in that turbulent moment, if I can park right there for a moment, there will sometimes be some folks around you who will doubt your ability to make it through. Former Vice President of the United States once called such individuals nattering nabobs of negativism. They are persistent pessimists, notorious naysayers, cantankerous critics. In the hood, we just call them haters. Folks who, whenever you're in a turbulent moment on the verge of a breakthrough, they'll doubt your ability to make it through. You've already shown yourself to be resilient, so when that turbulence strikes your life, I just want you to dismiss the doubters and keep marching towards your dream. That's what I want you as class of 22 to do, as you've already demonstrated. Dismiss the doubters and keep marching towards your dream. And yet I know that's not always easy. I've had some bumps and bruises, as I mentioned, along the way. I started my public service journey running for a seat in the New York State Legislature. I ran twice, and I lost twice. I was knocked down on the ground. And after I lost the second time, it wasn't easy. It was a painful loss. And I remember going back home, and as I recall, my wife and my mom were there, and they asked me how I was doing. And I said, I'm okay, other than the fact I'm in personal, political, and professional ruin right now. And then I think it was my wife who looked at me and responded simply by saying, stop being dramatic. By the way, she's a Binghamton University graduate. She learned that real talk up here at Binghamton University, I'm sure. But I had to take a step back because I was knocked down on the ground. Two-time loser, uncertain as to what would come next. But what enabled me to get up off the ground to keep marching forward toward my dream is that I realized that when you look at almost anyone who has achieved any level of success in politics or business or sports or law or medicine or education, healthcare, and any other field of human endeavor, that though you may now see the success, at some point there was failure, there was challenge, and there was adversity. But those folks, when they were knocked down, got up off the ground. They didn't give up. And that's what I want all of you to do. And somehow I was able to pick myself up, and that third time we were successful in winning a seat in the New York State Legislature. I was encouraged in that regard because I just looked around. I was surprised to learn that some of our most recent presidents of different political persuasions, former President Bill Clinton, former President George W. Bush, former President Barack Obama, all lost their first congressional race. They were knocked down on the ground. And I'm sure there were people around them who suggested to them that perhaps they should look into doing something different. But they fought through the turbulence, fought through the adversity, picked themselves up, kept moving forward, and every single one of them landed at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to serve this country with 2 full terms. Don't give up. Get up. You know, the African impala is commonly referred to as the deer of the continent of Africa. And the impala, this great creature, has the ability in one jump to leap heights of up to 10 feet and to cover distances greater than 30 feet. But you can keep the impala, this magnificent creature, trapped and enclosed in any zoo in the world with a brick wall no more than 3 feet high, because the impala will not jump if it cannot see where its feet will land. A lot of folks out there in the country and throughout the world, all the talent, all the ability, all the capacity in the world. But because of self-doubt, self-pity, a lack of self-confidence, when a moment of turbulence strikes, they remain nonetheless trapped in their current environment, trapped behind a wall that they could jump over. And so when you find yourselves behind that wall, as you already have, take that leap of faith, because you won't be disappointed in where you land. Take that leap of faith. Let me end with this story. You know, some young folks were gathered one day at the home of one of the wealthiest people in the world. They gathered at this home. It's an estate. And in the estate, there's a big lake. And in the lake, there are crocodiles, alligators, and one small turtle. Young folks are on one side of the lake, and on the other side, the owner of the estate shows up. One of the wealthiest people in the world. He sees these young people on the other side of the lake, and he calls out to them. He says, if any of you are willing to jump in the lake, rescue the turtle, and can make it to the other side, I'll give you anything that you want in this world. About 5 minutes passed by, and no one responded. So the owner of the estate turns around and and he begins to walk away. And as the owner is walking away, all of a sudden, he hears a big splash, turns back around, sees one young person in the lake frantically trying to make it to the other side. And somehow this young person dodges the crocodiles, dodges the alligators, makes it to the middle, scoops up the turtle, continues to bob and weave, makes it to the other side. Gets out, dries off, hands over the turtle to the owner of the estate, who says, "Congratulations, I'm not sure how you did it, but you made it to the other side. Now, as I promised, you can have anything that you want in this world." And the young person paused for a moment and said, "Well, I just want to know who pushed me in the lake." I'm about to get out of here, y'all, but here's my final observation. Sometimes in life, you find yourself in the midst of unexpected adversity. And that's exactly what happened to all of you, all of us, when the COVID-19 pandemic, a once-in-a-century pandemic, struck, forcing you to change everything as you were approaching this triumphant moment. But when you find yourself in that moment of unexpected adversity, as you did in the spring of 2020, you've only got two options. You can either sink or you can swim. And I'm so proud of the fact that each and every one of you, when that turbulence struck, when you were pushed in the lake, when you found yourself dealing with unexpected adversity, you stayed the course. You continued to run the race. You made the adjustments. You crossed over the finish line. You graduated from Binghamton University, one of the world's finest institutions of higher learning. And that's why I'm confident that whatever you want to be in life, whatever your journey takes you, the best is yet to come. God bless you. God bless Binghamton University. God bless the United States of America. Congratulations.
Absolutely perfect, Congressman. Thank you so much for those words. It's now my honor to introduce the president of our Alumni Association, Scott Foyer, who will give you regards on behalf of the Alumni Association. Scott?
Wow, talk about a tough act to follow. It is truly an honor to be here with you, all of you today, to speak to you on behalf of your Alumni Association. Although you've been an alum for more than a year now, I'd like to congratulate you on graduating from Binghamton University. I know this is not quite what you and your family envisioned when you thought about your graduation, but I'm very happy to see so many of you here today to celebrate this important milestone in your lives. I hope you'll all take this opportunity to get together with some friends and enjoy your time back on campus. You may not have realized it at the time, but when you graduated, you automatically became a member of the Alumni Association. No membership form to complete or dues to pay, just a great organization here for you in so many ways. We are a quickly growing network of over 143,000 alumni, and you may be surprised to hear that we have Binghamton grads in more than 100 countries around the world. Binghamton is everywhere. Because you've been out in the world for more than a year, you may have already experienced some of what our alumni network offers. There are Binghamton graduates pretty much anywhere you go. Our alumni want to help each other, so don't be shy about reaching out. Be sure to keep your information current in the online alumni directory. We can't keep you informed of the great programs and networking opportunities that the Alumni Association offers if we don't have your current information in our directory. Connect with us on social media and attend events in your area or on campus. When you receive an email from the Alumni Association, take a minute to read it and see what's happening so you don't miss out on something that you might enjoy. Maybe even get involved with your local chapter to help plan events in your area. Come on back to campus for homecoming each year to get together with friends and check out the latest changes on campus. You are now an ambassador for Binghamton University. Please keep proudly wearing your Binghamton shirts and hats and display your Binghamton gear at home and at work. Your Binghamton experience is a great conversation starter when you meet new people. Everyone knows someone who went to Binghamton. Among our many accomplished alumni are CEOs and senior managers at leading corporations, leaders in the financial and legal industries, renowned engineers, teachers, nurses, doctors, scientists, social workers and professionals of all kinds, as well as media personalities, movie stars, and even a United States congressman. Your time as a student has concluded, but your relationship with Binghamton has not. It is meant to last for your entire lifetime, so I encourage you to actively network with other alumni. It will pay dividends throughout your career. Give back by serving as a mentor or a volunteer. The Alumni Association offers many ways for you to do this. Check out the alumni website at binghamton.edu/alumni. Today, celebrate, enjoy, and take it all in. You've waited more than a year for this moment. Know that your university is very proud of you and wishes you all the success in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for your remarks. My name is Celia Klin, and I'm Dean of Harper College. It's now my pleasure to introduce Gabriel Pinciotti, a 2020 theater major who graduated summa cum laude, a recipient of the Binghamton University Merit Scholarship, the Emily A. Nielsen Scholarship, and the New York State Regents Merit Scholarship. Gabriel also earned Dean's List in each of his semesters at Binghamton, and was awarded highest honors in theater. He participated in numerous productions on campus throughout his time at Binghamton, including one-act plays, studio shows, and mainstream productions, as well as performances at a local playhouse. After graduating, he returned to Binghamton to be in the theater department's virtual production of Macbeth, and hopes to soon be moving to New York City. I am now pleased to introduce our student speaker, Gabriel Pinciotti.
Hi, everyone. I might be a little late in saying this, but congrats on graduating. Regardless of how long it's been. Yeah, it's a big deal. Congrats yourself, seriously. College is not easy, both academically and personally, because yes, school can be really hard, but personal lives can get so much harder than that. Then again, I was a theater major, so what do I know about hard classes? So naturally, the tougher challenges for me were the personal challenges, and I feel like I learned a few things, as anyone does going through college and growing up. And I feel like our generation is always seen as struggling with their personal lives, stereotyped as depressed and nihilistic and struggling to find their way in this, big old place. And sure, it's a stereotype, but I feel like it's true for a lot of us. I know I've gone through plenty of phases like that. And yet, here we are at a big ceremony dedicated to us going out into the real world. A year after a lot of us have already started doing it, of course, but regardless, I feel that we're all in a similar point in our lives, full of new chapters and big changes on the horizon. So I figured I would pull together some of those things that I learned and share with you what I think really matters in life. Because a lot of things end up not mattering, and even things that seem incredibly urgent in the moment fall by the wayside in no time, and you're left wondering why you spent so much time worrying about it. But there are a lot of things that do matter. And hanging on to those is one of the best ways to help yourself as we all go out into the real world. Starting with, first of all, your own well-being. It's so easy just to not take care of yourself, especially when you're in college. But whether it's your mental health, your physical health, or anything in between, you've got to be taking care of the one thing that's with you your entire life, yourself. And it's fine to not be okay, and it's fine to not want to be okay sometimes, but you gotta be selfish, you know? You gotta say, I'm doing this for me, and that's okay. And be your own biggest fan. Who better to root for than yourself?
Angela. Donna West. Erin Riggs. Mohammed Al-Mashrai. Ada Robinson Perez. Varun Soman. Kateria Rosario Gonzalez. Michelle Brennan. Laurie Davis. Laura Engel. Lisa Morali Daly. Edwin Nico Rojas Kabikting.
At this time, I will now introduce our graduates from the College of Community and Public Affairs. Sarah Napolitano. Casey Pulse. Jessica DeTuris. Merrill Stromberg. Patrick Doyle. Corsa Kofi Akumfi. Joyce Wong. Emily Rachel Lam. Jessica N. Barnoy. Tara Battersby. Machieram Onyemeluekwe. Lauren Elizabeth Spinato. Carly Krishnavi. Danielle Rubin. Jessica Greenwald. Hunter Andresco. Michelle Bladefetter. Sarah Elizabeth Vanderwerker. Daniela O. Benzarke. Hallie Sarner. Kyla Lace. Alexa E. Dantano.
At this time, I will now introduce the graduates from the Decker College of Nursing and Health Sciences. Sarah Bachelet. Kim An Nap Pham. Serwa Garand. Angela Maria Oliveri. Anaya Kalani Cruz. Ciara Nicole McNeil. Sarah Calarco. Marissa Rising. Joanna Mariela Quintasaca Tamay. Melissa Isaac Green. Sakile Stevenson. Brian Gabrielle Schuster. Kayla McGovern. April Caroline Girardi. Vanessa Collins.
At this time, I will now introduce the graduates from Harper College of Arts and Sciences. Jennifer Walker. Danielle Stephanie LaRose. Amoyen Thompson. Bridget M. Kane. Brett Sticia. Neha Rathi. Christopher Alford. Todd Albert Swan. Christopher DiDonato. Jacob Hanna. Masha Morozov. Sahar Akhlaq. Manur Khan. Gabrielle M. Campos. Nicole Juliana Ninivagi. Tell me your name. Monica McColgan. Justine Hudak. Gabrielle Pinchatti. Laura McDowell. Emily Rose Zeltman. Grace Marie Sullivan. Daniel Reddington. Camila Martinez Cabrera. Hallie Ellen Serio. Michaela Kier. Erin Patricia Dyer. Saba Teklu Abraha. Haley Michelle Olson. Sean Bennett Kaplan. Anthony Milkov Ivanov. Annabeth Sloan. Brianna Hawkins. Cherie Litvin. Alejandro Enrique Galeno. Jake Sherrick. Meredith Cottle. Sarah Gabrielle Poland. Anastasia Guerra. Liam Herbstritt. Jennifer Carney. Kiana Schrag. Rebecca Getz. Allison Ishibashi. Teresa Ann Grillo. Matthew R. Waltz. Olivia Kulbaki. Kaylee M. Pitcher. Claudia J. Rutley. Allison Marie McGurdy. Liana Gross. Luisa Belfiore. Ryan Brandow. Kayla Marsico. Samantha Viesely. Zachary Bosak. Bren Stace. Jacqueline Carey. Matthew David Jacobson. Haley Latera. Bridget Shanley. Nadine Madio. Daniel Saya. Sophia Gartenstein. Aaron Herbstritt. Georgia Louise Kirkizes. Jason Aguirre. Nithya Vishwanathan. Diana Bahorkis. Ryan Robert Dixon. Luke Maxwell. Kelly Herder. Marisa Alexandra Bruno. Sophia Raymond. Jillian Marchese Schmidt. Michael Boyle. Karen Oweda. Connor Robert Winnie. Gina Milagros Aliberti. Rachel Samantha Engelman. Morgan E. Bassett. Danielle Rosenkill. Renee Poehler. Chloe Carlson. Liliana L. Martinez. Jillian Forstad. Amy Williamson. Keelan Faye Andrews. Emily Goldstein. Matthew Glenn Hornstein. Lindsay Maklos. Grace M. Pellerin. Nelly Vorobyev. Ronnie Marhaba. Vito Lembo. Noah Jacob Salazar. Silvana Levine. Christina Nonnenmacher. Morgan Kelly Timmons. Giselle Cortez. Anna Clorin Timmons. Derek R. Kappa. Jerry Chang. Shay S. Wins. Keep it.
Thank you.
Kylie Mon. Lauren Cruz. Joseph Scuderi. Katrina Buckley Collins. Emma Lammers.
Thank you.
Anik Elizabeth Tab. Ava Christofferson. Ethan S. Foyer. Kevin Cairo. Devin A. Denny Jadou. Julio Cesar Almonte. Logan Emerson Alvarez. Jacqueline Grace McGowan. Alexandra Lindstrom. Jeremy Bernard Boyle. Andrew Riggio. Douglas Braun. Kate Diane Trujillo. Emily Weech. Jason Greenberg. Helena Clonis. Will Bodkin. Mariana McCarthy. Kevin Henneberger. Ryan T. Walsh. Megan Bialme Evans. Lilia Sergey Agarkov. Rachel M. Lamson. Amanda Klinger. Jessica Nyla Elaine Brown. Stephen Bordengo. Natalie Stone. Jamal Nafiu. Nafiu. Zachary Davis. Eliza Whitaker. Serena Sundenberg. Brianna McLaughlin. Jennifer Marie Roman. Emily Lubin. Esmeralda Gomez. Sidel Bouville. Gobel, excuse me. Cindy Perkai. Liana Weitzman. Brendan M. Milan. Alexis Katie Gursky. Kayla Principe. Maria J. Carlucci. Abigail Wick. Manika Makijani. Catherine Manolian. Benjamin Huff. Jacqueline Witschel. Melanie Gulbas. Luke Murillo. Murillo, pardon me. Rachel Julian Gordon. Mayan M. Cohen. Catherine M. De La Cruz. Isabel Matthew. Julie Thomas. Devin Zeller. Ashley Thomas. Valerie M. Jimenez. Tonya Marie Touchai. Daniela Stayagova. Elena Rodriguez. Simon Abramoff. Claudia Lopez Pajares. Alina Bernstein. Nathaniel Platzner. Brittany Scavla. Angel Tatis. Amanda Sanger. Brian Scala. Card, please. Card, please. Thank you. Patricia Danielle Canavan. Neam O'Donnell. Janiera Headley. Jamal J. Ojeda Velasquez. Arjule Arrington. Nishale McFarland. Chelsea Ogindo. Ania Johnson White. Kyra Nelson. Aaron Bishop. Nikita Char. Kwamia Sanford.
At this time, I will now introduce the graduates from the School of Management. Veronica Stanis. Stephanie Rose Vena. Victoria Bertolini. Alex D. Gold. Brooke Cohen. John Alexandro. Christian Finch. Jordan Philip Bedeau. Courtney Coburn. Grace Kim. Justin Blake Ferrara. Barbara Badir. Sydney Corda. Stamatia Demetrio. Alana Mahan. Nicole Uma Atuyai.
Robin J. Brown. Joshua Finchler. Justin Sachs. Zachary Holmler. David Mariano. Samuel Agassi. Casey McCarthy. Jeff Kutstentanu. Robert Mendelson. Brian Samuel Kenningsberg. Peter Lawrence Kenningsberg. Sabrina Wang. Zach Malo. Daniel Levine. Catherine A. Kiesler. Joel Velasco. Stephen Link. Reed Alexander Blee. Kaylin Marone Uhas. Kai A. Moon. Grace Catherine Eisman. Omar Vintamila. Yeah. Adzi B. Bigum. Alex Rexkin. Jaden Win Nogi.
At this time, I will now introduce the graduates from the Thomas J. Watson College of Engineering and Applied Science. Darshna Jain. Soham Patil. Luvpreet Kaur. Rushikesh Mali. Sagar Rakami. Rajat Gupta. Ankit Patel. Vinan Furtado. Jared Horton. Erica Solano. Pranjal Pareke. Garvita More. Pavan Kumar Jati. Subham Sankhe. Sanved Dattatreya Tapkir. Yash Patel. Sayali Snehal Ram Torat. Prince Rajaram Singh. Pranav Sanjay Sahu. Purva Nurashbai Takar. Janisha Takar. Natalie Zanko. Ayushi Agrawal. Nicole Vital. Pratik Panchate. Manish Tikanchan Parihar. Aditya Sunil Parandakar. Hari Aswin. Thomas McGregor. Brian Peters. Brandon Koenig. Nitin Goyal. Karen Liu. Krishan Pal Singh. Sagar Saduri. Shrey Rajesh Jain. Shrishti Arjun Desai. Abhinaya Ravi. Vaishnavi Ramesh. Lekana Kotar Manjanath. Nurapama Raju. Diraj Deshmundre. Shweta Prakash Aswani. Saumitra Natu. Yogesh Jadhav. Hitesh Chandrakant Nikam. Bardavi Alandakar. Bhavesh Somaseti. Nikhil Kandapale. Mayan Badagi. Akash Dilaval. Abhijit Mahajan. Shashank Kaldate. Sudeep Anup Gokarn. Sunil Bengaluru Ravishnakar. Naveen Murali. Reshma Barvin Shahul Hamid Amanullah. Shivani Dhanasamy. Subhash Kartik Mohan. Kartik Kandaswamy. Davina Sachin Duri. Segar Balchandra Abonde. Amkar Hatwalne. Nikita Kone. Shreya Malind Pradhan. Arshada Rode. Mayuri Patil. Dhanashri Arun Mohite. Rishraj Sanjay Parvati. Sushil Hegde. Sahul Mali. Lalit Manwani. Nikunj Sharma. Nashiket Vinay Sabnis. Shrutika Rohidas Tarat. Vasavravaj Biraladini. Saustav Saxena. Dishar Sharma. Scott Mason. Shania Mahmood. Nicole Takapina. Danielle Del Balzo. Christopher Glashin. Junsun John Baptiste. Kayla Shanang Tang. Jordana Simon. Thomas Hurley. Fidel Alberto Briones. Benjamin Weiss. Daniel James Eisenhower. Ryan William Byer. Joseph Sanchez. Adam Van Allen. Alexander Orellana. Ryan Sharpaletti. Julia Schulk. Nathaniel Perez. Kimberly Giselle Carpio Mora. Daniel Hintz. Utsal Raman. Connor Tremblay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Will all baccalaureate, master's, and doctoral graduates please rise? President Stenger, I am honored to present to you the graduates from the class of 2020 in person.
For those of you who have successfully completed all degree requirements by the authority vested in me by the Chancellor and the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York and the Board of Regents of the University of the State of New York, I confirm last year's conferral on each of you the appropriate baccalaureate, master's, or doctoral degree with all the rights and privileges accompanying it. On behalf of the Binghamton University community, I congratulate you all for this well-earned accomplishments. And for our baccalaureate candidates, as is customary upon conferral of your degree, you may now move the tassel on your cap from the right to the left. Ladies and gentlemen, parents, partners, and friends, I present to you the Binghamton University class of 2020.
Everyone, please rise as you are able. Gentlemen, please remove your hats as we sing the Binghamton University alma mater. We invite everyone to join in singing the refrain and second verse. The lyrics may be found on the back cover of the commencement program. class of 2020 commencement proceedings of the State University of New York at Binghamton are now concluded. We kindly ask the audience to remain seated for the academic recessional. Once the academic recessional is completed, you may exit the event center.
Thank you.